It's quite interesting to see how Jay-Z and Beyonce are now being put under the fire as Diddy's downfall is going on. Because we have Jaguar Wright that we saw on Pierce Morgan's show, how she was exposing what she knows about Jay-Z and Beyonce and how they're just as bad. She went as far as calling them monsters. And then once Jay-Z and Beyonce came across this interview right here on Pierce Morgan's show, because it was a very large platform, they had his lawyer, Jay-Z's lawyer, reach out to Pierce Morgan and say, you need to take that down or else we're going to take you to court, because the claims that she is making are just false. And they claim that it's drowning out the voice of the victims, when we already know that Jaguar Wright is the voice for the victims. She was talking about all of this way before Diddy's arrest was even mainstream. But one thing we do know, we can say just from our observation using our own eyes, is that Jay-Z and Beyonce can say that's false. They can say the claims are false all they want, the same exact way that Diddy claimed that the claims that were made against him, the allegations were false, until the video of Cassie coming out, and then we saw that Diddy was quite a monster. Now in this instance also, we're also able to see in a video that I created about a couple weeks ago, how Beyonce, from the looks of this video, faked her pregnancy. Now, what does this mean? Why am I bringing this up? Let's just watch this small clip really fast.
People saying what must have been a fake baby bump visually collapsed.
Her entire baby bump collapsed. So when it comes to Beyonce, Jay-Z, these elites, they're very familiar when it comes to lying to the public audience for their specific image. Whether she wants to be a pregnant Beyonce performing as if she's not, or whether you want to be a Diddy that's just the best possible producer and creator and rapper in the world, when in reality the character is just absolutely botched. So without further ado, we're about to get into this video right here that I just came across, the disturbing truth behind Jay-Z and Beyonce. Let's see what this video has to say.
Undergoing a reckoning at the moment, as everyone is looking at the dark secrets that are spilling out. With the news that Diddy might be going away for life, people are now questioning who else might be in line to have their private lives exposed, with the terrible things that they've done to others coming to light and potentially ruining their reputation. And at the moment, it's not just one individual under scrutiny, but it's rap's real power couple who are being placed under the microscope, as they are now facing accusations that range from behind the scenes political manipulation to even murder. It's your boy Luesta, and this is the disturbing alleged double life of Jay-Z and Beyonce. During a recent interview with Piers Morgan, R&B singer and conspiracy theorist Jaguar Wright made several allegations. Although she had been brought on the show to discuss the diddler and how she had been calling him out for years, she went majorly off script and started talking about Hove and the former Destiny's Child singer turned megastar.
Why there's no vindication for me? Because for 4 years I've been screaming, not just Diddy, but Diddy and Jay-Z are monsters, and the victim-making machine kept going on.
When Piers pointed out that Hove hadn't responded to all the rumors going around about their friendship after Diddy's arrest, Wright claimed that Jay's underhanded tactics and sneaky ways of avoiding direct involvement have allowed him to stay on top in the industry.
That's what he does. He starts little fires everywhere, forces everyone involved to go and carry water while he sneaks away without a response. That changes now, Sean. You must respond.
Rather than say he was just an accomplice.
Jaguar Wright done called him out like this. You must respond, hands in the air. You don't have the right to remain silent no more.
She said that in reality, Jay was the connective tissue between many of the big names who have been involved in horrific acts.
Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, Robert Kelly, Sean Combs have one person in common, Sean Carter. This has been a fist of tyranny that has been punching through our culture and our society for decades. It must stop.
She even claimed that there are people ready to come forward with their stories, adding fuel to a conspiracy theory that's recently gained a lot of attention. One involving their alleged connection to the tragic death of another prominent R&B artist.
Aaliyah.
I have 3 victims right now who are willing to give testimony about not only what Mr. Carter has done to them, but his wife as well. They're a nasty little couple. They do nasty things. Keeping people against their will, putting people on planes while they're unconscious, just like Aaliyah got on that plane, unconscious.
Now, if you were looking for that portion of her interview with the British journalist anywhere else on YouTube, you wouldn't find it. Because after she made those comments, Morgan got hit with a cease and desist and was made to censor his allegedly uncensored show.
Well, Jack, you were right, unexpectedly made several serious allegations about Jay-Z and Beyonce during that interview. As I said in the moment, they were not present to respond or defend themselves, but now they have. Their lawyers contacted us to say that those claims were totally false and have no basis in fact, and we've therefore complied with the legal request to cut them from the original interview. Editing interviews is not something we do lightly at a show called Uncensored. Like the proverbial cries of fire in a crowded theatre, there are legal limits on us too. And we apologise to Jay-Z and Beyonce.
And the attorney that had proposed the quote-unquote cease and desist had mentioned that it wasn't really a cease and desist. It was more so an ultimatum. Either take it down or we're going to take you to court. Now, Pierce Morgan is really just trying to protect his brand for the most part. He doesn't want to go to court with Jay-Z and Beyonce because that's a whole entire another thing. But he ended up taking it down. More like an ultimatum, or you could call it a threat, whatever you want to say, for totally false claims.
After it was pulled from air and Morgan had this tail between his legs, their lawyer Alex Spiro labeled the claim as clearly false. There's rumors and then there's nonsense. And this is one step further, he told TMZ. This is a pointed and formal accusation of something. I felt it needed to be responded to. I think somebody reported it was a cease and desist. It wasn't that. It was quite bluntly an ultimatum, which is to remove that false accusation that's demonstrably false, or a court is gonna order you to. So I think he made the wise choice and acted accordingly. Some people agreed with their legal team that you couldn't just make claims like this without any consequences. But there were some who felt that this made Jay-Z and Beyonce look way more guilty than they would otherwise, and maybe the damage had been done. Where there's smoke, there's fire. It's too late to edit it out. The internet
100%.
lives forever. And I mean, they're right. Once you put something onto social media, it takes on a new life of its own. And these days, there's a lot of people who are wondering now if Jay-Z and Beyonce weren't just in cahoots with Puff, but were just as bad as the diddler himself.
And this is the thing, one thing we haven't seen is a lawsuit against Jaguar Wright for quote-unquote defamation, when she has made claims and said, this is true. It wasn't any alleged stuff. She'll be like, this is true.
Because even after the threats of legal action from Jay and Bey's legal team, Jaguar continued to argue that if Diddy was brought to justice, they would be too.
That's always been my focus. They're one and the same. Tell me something. When you have a peanut butter jelly sandwich, if it's just peanut butter, it's just peanut butter. If it's just jelly, it's jelly. When you put it together, it becomes a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and the taste is undeniable.
You saying Diddy and Jay-Z is peanut butter jelly?
Peanut butter and jelly. Let's deal with the sandwich.
As opposed to jumping on the bandwagon, it should be noted that this is definitely the first time that she leveled these claims at Hove and Co. Instead, Jaguar, who sang backing vocals on Jay-Z's Unplugged album, has been claiming that Hove abused her and others for years.
Sean Carter is just as bad as the diddler, and I know that for a fact. I got the scars to prove it.
Want to know what a box cutter feels like going into your skin and ripping you?
I can tell you how it feels. Y'all ain't seen shit. That Cassie shit, that's nothing.
Are you trying to say like Jay-Z put hands on you?
I'm saying Sean Carter remembers everything he did to me, and he's got it in tape. Just like Diddy. It's gonna be the women that give him in the end.
Of course, there are also people who would discredit.
See, that's one thing I didn't know. I didn't know Jaguar was a quote-unquote victim also by Sean Carter.
Jaguar Wright. Throughout the years, she has shown signs of instability, such as throwing her son's ashes at people during an argument before smearing them on her own skin.
Oh, my dear son. Oh, my dear son. Oh, my son. Oh, my son. They're all dead. No, they're all dead. They're all dead. They're all dead. They're all dead.
But as hard as that is to accept, she has been proven right in other ways. From Diddy's secret freak-offs, right down to the ingredients of the cocktail that Diddy used to sedate the participants in these events.
It's a veterinary drug. It's a horse tranquilizer. Now, gay men have been using this for years. If you went to a gay party or a gay rave, there were certain drugs that you would always find on hand. Viagra, Special K, and cocaine.
But as headline grabbing as what she has to say
Special
is,
K.
Wright is ultimately only one voice in the crowd of people who have suggested that there's something seriously warped going on behind the scenes in Ho's life. Right down to fellow 90s hip-hop artists like Lord Jamar. According to him, Ho's indiscretions were a lot better disguised than Diddy's. But the fact that he started dating Beyonce after meeting her when she was just 17 years old, as well as rumors that he got with Foxy Brown when the rapper was 15 and he was 27, should have rang alarm bells.
You know, I will say that Jay-Z, if he was doing ill shit like that, he was more quiet about it. You know what I mean? But then, if we be real with ourselves, it was kind of abnormal when he got with Beyonce. Like, she was pretty young when he got with her. There's rumors that he was messing with Foxy Brown when she was pretty young, you know. So there's a lot of those rumors around.
But if you ask Jamar, this situation is scarily common when it comes to these high-powered celebrities, and Jay is just one of many people that he had heard some dark things about.
You know, I'm not gonna lie, when certain people get to a certain level of fame, I don't know why, but you start to hear little about certain people sometimes. If you really think about most of your top celebrities, black celebrities, rappers, I feel like I've heard a rumor damn near about all of them. It could be. Or it could be that motherfuckers gotta join a club in order to get to a certain level. Everybody that goes past a certain point, you'll hear a little, have I heard little shit about Jay-Z? Yup.
The whole Foxy Brown situation is one that's had people concerned for a long time. Even when she appeared on his debut album in 1996, the track was recorded 2 years earlier when she was just 15. Then, as her first album emerged when she was 17, it was full of sexually explicit lyrics and had 5 co-writing credits for.
Bro,
it was full.
She's 17, bro.
Of sexually explicit lyrics and had 5 co-writing credits for, you guessed it, Sean Carter. So at this point, Hov and Foxy's relationship seems to be an open secret. Even Jason Lee hinted towards it on a recent IG Live after Puffy's arrest.
And then Diddy, that whole empire crumbling got a lot of y'all scared because your favorite rapper was sleeping with a 15-year-old. But listen, here's the deal.
But when it comes to Jay's questionable behavior around young women, it doesn't end with those he tries to court. Sometimes, he's threatening teenagers just to get their signature on a contract. During an appearance on Tyra Banks' show way back in the day, a 17-year-old Rihanna let it slip that Jay had been a little forceful in convincing her to sign to Def Jam back when he was still at the helm of the label.
Like you said, there are 2 ways to leave here, either through the door with the deal signed or through this window, and we're on the 29th floor. So you was like, where's the pen? Where's the paper? I'm signing. Yeah.
This may have seemed like a lighthearted anecdote from Riri at the time, but considering everything we now know about how the top figures in hip-hop operate, it lands a little differently. Particularly when you hear some of the stories about how Jay and Bey have allegedly moved through both the industry and their own secretive lives. The name Kathy Coriana White might not necessarily mean anything to you, but for those who are familiar with the dirt surrounding the Carters, she's one of the most interesting individuals in the whole situation. It was alleged that back in the day, Kathy and Jay-Z were engaged in an affair. Eventually, the press got wind of it and tried to follow up. But then, something horrible happened before the truth could come out. The story comes from former entertainment reporter Liz Crockett, who said that she was on the cusp of blowing the whole thing wide open when tragedy struck. In August of 2011, I was working as a senior editor for Star magazine. My boss asked me to look into online blog reports claiming that a woman named Kathy Coriana White, who friends called Corey, was having an affair with Jay-Z. The blog that reportedly first broke the affair story was published by Hollywood Street King in an article titled Busted: Jay-Z Caught Cheating on Beyonce with Kathy White in August of 2010. I managed to get a hold of Kathy at her job in New York over the phone. I then uncovered photos of Kathy hanging out with Jay-Z and Diddy at Tao nightclub in Las Vegas. So I called her back and asked her about the photo evidence that debunked her initial claim that she had never met or hung out with Jay-Z. At this point, Kathy expressed to me that she would consider going public with her story. Days later, I tried to reach her at her work with no luck. I finally got a hold of one of her colleagues, and I asked her if she knew why Kathy had been MIA. Her colleague shockingly told me she's dead. This story has gained plenty of attention over the years.
Now, what do y'all think? Coincidence or a devious plan by evil mind? Comment down below what y'all think. You know what I'm saying? It just seems like that's just such a coincidence. When Kim Porter wants to come out with an all-tell book about Diddy, she ends up passing away. When this girl right here wants to come out about Jay-Z and her allegedly having an affair, she ends up passing away. What's really going on? Is it a coinky-dink?
becoming the focus of a full video by Trap Lord Ross, who hinted that there might be more beneath the surface than we initially thought.
Comment below.
But her friend and colleague Claudia Jordan has pushed back and has since tried to dead the story. Still, it continues to grow arms and legs, with people even theorizing that Ye hinted towards the situation between White and Jay-Z on the infamous track Blood on the Leaves, when he said, "He only wanna see that ass in reverse. $2,000 bag with no cash in your purse. Now you sit in courtside, wifey on the other side. Gotta keep them separated. I call that apartheid." Then she says she's pregnant. That's the night your heart died. Now you gotta go to your girl and report that. Main reason, cause your pastor said he can't abort that. Obviously, Ye and Kanye have a complex relationship that could be deserving of its own video one day. But it wouldn't exactly be the first time that he blew the whistle on his former mentor and said more than he should have. Because when they had fallen out in the past, Ye seemed to suggest that there was more reasons to be afraid of Hove.
I've been sent here to give y'all my truth, even at the risk of my own life, even at the risk of my own success, my own career. Jay-Z called me, bro. You still ain't called me. Jay-Z called me. Hey, bro, Jay-Z, I know you got killers. Please don't send them at my head. Just call me. Talk to me like a man.
Much like Jaguar White, Ye is a
And
man.
when Jay-Z and when Kanye West says that Jay-Z has killers, don't be thinking about these killers in the hood. You know what I'm saying? That they come out with a machine gun or a pistol or something like that. No. Silent killers. Very silent killers. Killers that you wouldn't... Undercover killers. They drop a little something in your drink while you out in public after stalking you for a couple days, maybe a week or so. You end up drinking that drink, and a week later you're done. Silent killers. Don't think he's moving. He can't move bold like that.
And who the media has also labeled as crazy from time to time. So this pretty much went under the radar. But some believe he might have been onto something, especially since Kathy White isn't the only person in their circle to have mysteriously and suddenly passed away.
The plane crash that killed a rising star in the world of music and film. Reaction today after Aaliyah and 8 others were killed when their plane went down.
The tragic death of Aaliyah is one that's grown very shadowy in recent years. For starters, it's recently emerged that the beloved singer wasn't even conscious when she boarded the plane that crashed and claimed her life. They took her out of the van. She didn't even know she was getting boarded on a plane. She went on the plane asleep. And one person who's become increasingly wary of the official story is Dame Dash. To many people, he's the original hater when it comes to Hove, incapable of accepting what went wrong with their friendship at Rockefeller Records. But to many people, he's been seen as the man who was right about Hove all along. In case you didn't know, Dame was dating Aaliyah at the time of her untimely death. But that happened long after Hove had been trying to date her since she was 17, whereas Dame didn't start dating her until she was 21.
I didn't look at her like that because she was like a tomboy. She was little to me. But then one time, she was, I guess we had the same bookkeeper, and I walked past, and the thing about Aaliyah was like every time I saw her, she looked different. So she had different looks every time, and I was like, who the fuck is that?
According to Dame, this was something that stayed with Jay long after his former friend and label co-owner hooked up with her and was the cause of some friction between them.
Everybody knows that shit. Like we were both.
I heard it, but I didn't.
Yeah, but they be trying to act like he was like really fucking with. Nah, he was sending flowers and doing all this shit that nigga. He was courting her, so we were both going hard, and we ended up in the same house 4th of July. So we were, for some reason this day.
Wait a minute, you, Jay, and Aaliyah ended up in the same house.
Yeah,
that's funny.
So it was like one day it might lean toward him and then it would lean toward me. But I was just on fire that week. Like I was just everything I was saying was funny. You know what I'm saying? It was like, and I remember coming downstairs, like it happened. He was like. I said, this is gonna be hard for me because he was throwing, because his friends were laughing at him and shit.
But there was a third man involved.
I would never fight over a girl like that. When I mean fight, I mean like do so much to the point just so it like. At that point, she needs to make up her mind. You feel what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I don't see myself as competition with another man. They were like literally competing for real.
In the situation, the individual who had groomed her and married her when she was just 14, R. Kelly. Despite how sick this was and how much Kelly's behavior was an open secret in the game, Jay went ahead and made 2 collaborative projects with him. Meanwhile, Dame refused to take a dime from them.
I don't want to be a part of that, so I'm not working with you. So I walked away from Weinstein, and then homie did do business with him. When it came down to R. Kelly, there was a conversation. I walked away from Weinstein, and then homie did do business.
This is This is
when it came down to R. Kelly, there was a
I'm looking at the top over here.
The individual who had groomed her and married her when she was just 14, R. Kelly. Despite how sick this was and how much Kelly's behavior was an open secret in the game, Jay went ahead and made 2 collaborative projects with him. Meanwhile, Dame refused to take a dime from them.
I don't want to be a part of that, so I'm not working with you. So I walked away from Weinstein, and then homie was.
So Dame Dash walked away from working with Jay-Z and R. Kelly because he knew the things R. Kelly was involved in, which is most likely the things that he's in jail for right now.
Business with him. When it came down to R. Kelly, there was a conversation had about the moralness, like it's morally wrong to do a project with someone that we know raped my girl or raped anybody for that matter. So I do know that conversation was had, and I was really surprised that he moved forward with that relationship.
Bro, working with him is wild.
I never had the chance to walk away from him, but I do know that when that project did come out, I didn't want any part of that project. I didn't want any of the money to go to Rockefeller or me when it came to Rockefeller. It was around the time that Jay was trying to kind of separate himself from us, and he was saying that he didn't want to be a part anymore.
The idea that Hove must have known was echoed by Nas, who seemed to have suggested something similar at the height of his beef with Jay-Z.
You can't tell me Jada see a 14-year-old girl come in the studio and sit on R. Kelly's lap. You can't tell me, that he ain't never seen no 14-year-old girl come in the vicinity. You seen it go down. Yeah. I've been around R. Kelly. I've been on a tour with him. I didn't see no 14-year-old, but I talked to the man and I've seen there's a little problem there.
In the years that have passed since Aaliyah's tragic death, Dame has increasingly wondered if someone had something to gain from her passing away. And in recent years, people have felt that Jay and Beyonce are among those who might have had a hand in it, or at least had something to gain from her passing, including Jaguar White.
By the way, wasn't this all around the time when Aaliyah died?
Yeah.
And Beyonce's solo career was struggling? Damn on your horn now, that fucking bullshit ass record. From the Austin Powers shit was some of the worst shit ever. They were having a hard time taking her solo, and then Aaliyah died.
While Dame has never explicitly said that Hove was the man involved, he has basically said that it's now up to his former friend and others to make it clear that there's no foul play.
I know that there are people that benefited from her death, but for me, when I hear these conspiracies, I'm like, how could they be that powerful that they could get a plane or someone to crash a plane? Like, I don't want to say I'm underestimating people, but I don't give people, like, that's like, yo, that's the most illest gangster shit, some Pablo Escobar, you could actually get a plane to crash. And then a lot of rumors about me, like I sacrificed her and some dumb shit like that, you know, all those things. It's hard to, like, I don't want to believe that, but it does make me think it through, you know? So again, in this moment, just because there's so much gray area on a legal level, not what I'm suspecting, but like, you know, this shit is now real. Or if it isn't real, people are gonna have to prove that it's not real.
But he hasn't shot
when it comes to Dame Dash, it seems like he actually cared about Aaliyah for real. Jay-Z, the reason why I say he didn't really care about her was just for the fact that he was willing to work with a man that had forcefully taken advantage of her. That's just like the ultimate be-all. That's just like one of the worst things to do. And to know that he did that and still be a partner with him and be in his vicinity and come up with ideas is just wild. So I could see Jay-Z like doing something like that to further the girl that he quote unquote really cares about career and taking away the one that he really didn't care about.
Away from making some pretty wild claims about Hove that echo some things that you might have been hearing about Diddy. During a particularly shocking interview, Dame Dash alleged that Jay followed in Diddy's footsteps and spiked his drinks after a show.
There was this one time when my daughter was 16, Jay had a show and my daughter wanted to go. So I'm like, yo, I'm not gonna deprive my daughter. So, you know, I hollered at Jay, sent the kite and told him I wanted to go to a show with my daughter, and they accommodated me to the fullest. People were really surprised to see me there, took pictures with everybody. And again, that means my brother, so I would hate to think that he was fucking around like that, pause. But he kept asking me something. That was the first time I had tasted that Douce, and I got ridiculously drunk to the extent, and my daughter and I were talking about this the other day, that I was like, yo, I don't get this drunk. Why am I so drunk? And I ended up wrestling with Kevin Hart. He poor nigga got me in a chicken wing. And I remember Vaughn taping that shit. I'm like, yo, why you taping, Vaughn? So I'm thinking, I'm like, damn, because homie makes drinks too. And again, just if this is true, these are the things that I'm like, just reflecting on. And if I wouldn't have played everything completely by the book, complete honor, then I could have been compromised.
For the most part, we've been focusing on Jay-Z.
Damn! Dame Dash would have gotten the Diddy treatment. They tried to give him the Diddy treatment that night. They spiked his drink. They were trying to over there compromise that rear end. They were trying to, oh man. These dudes are just evil. Yo, when it says in Proverbs, you don't want to walk in the path of the wicked, I don't know, I'm starting to believe that these people right here are the wicked that the Bible talks about, to stay far from their path.
it makes sense that he's the one who's been on the front lines of the industry for almost 30 years, pulling strings and hustling his way to $1 billion. Generally, you don't get that rich without getting your hands a little dirty. So, does Beyonce have similar skeletons in her closet? Well, these days, people are beginning to think so. Recently, the video of Kanye's VMA escapade with Taylor Swift has been doing the rounds again on social media. But instead of the usual narratives about him stealing a young girl's thunder, people are now suggesting that he actively saved Taylor. Because the theory goes that if she hadn't given Beyonce any credit, it could have gone south for her. Check this out.
Beyonce, whoo!
She's all.
You changed my life. You sang that gospel medley, and the way you made me feel, I was like, I want to make people feel this way with my music. So thank you so much. You clearly are the artist of our lives. Hey, artist of my life is Beyonce in this album for me. Appreciate that. And all us artists
here. Oh my gosh. Oh my. Okay, Beyonce's a good singer, but geez, you don't need to get on your knees and start licking her poom poom. Holy shucks. That one song changed your entire life? This seems like they have to suck up to her when they receive an award because they know she's basically their boss in the industry and they could cut them off whenever they want.
Life is Beyonce in this album for me. Appreciate that. And all us artists here, we fucking adore you. You are our light. And I love you. I always have, and I always will.
Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time.
For Ye fans, this whole scenario has been a real layup, as it means that people are posting positive comments about him for a change. But even if there's nothing to really substantiate that theory, it doesn't change the fact that she has lost 4 million followers since March 2024. If you're keeping tabs, that's around the same time that things started to get wild with Diddy's case. And just as Jaguar White has been going at Hove, there are people inside Beyonce's inner circle who have suggested that there's darkness underneath the surface there as well. Identifying himself as her former bodyguard, a TikToker who goes by the name of Uncle Ron has started sharing some wild stories about Beyonce and Hove, only for those TikToks to also be taken down. For one thing, he said that she had a pretty severe addiction, and this was for Hove's benefit.
See, hardly nobody knows, but I'll say it, man. Yeah, Beyonce's on drugs. She been on them for a long time, and you keep her that way. Y'all wish it what you wish it to stay on top. But there's one thing about me, bro. I can't be bought.
In a separate video, he threatened to expose them, claiming that they might take drastic action to silence him with the kind of dirt he had on them, including but not limited to them ending other R&B singers' careers and even their relationship being a sham.
Beyonce and Jay-Z will do anything to destroy anyone who speaks out against them. Okay, I get the threats, but you have to remember one thing. I know your deepest secrets. I know so much about you and what you've done. I know so much on how you got where you are, how you stepped on many people. Beyonce, how you guys ended Carrie Hilson's career because she said something about you. That's how hateful you guys are, how you step on anybody to stay on the top. So remember, your relationship was a business relationship, financial, to get to the top, to become billionaires. There's no love there.
From there, Uncle Ron continued, claiming that he would drop evidence if they ever challenged him.
Remember, all the receipts, all the proof, the old school footage, I still have it.
Now, it's hard to validate if a lot of what he's saying is fact, but there are comments from Carrie Hilson from years ago where she tries to explain why she disappeared from the music industry for 7 years after shading Beyonce on the track Turn It On. Although she didn't go too much into detail, it's clear that there were repercussions for that.
It's the price you pay, when you're early in your career, you feel that you have to listen. And when you buck, they buck harder. And they make threats, and those threats are huge ones. And you know what I mean? You don't feel like you have a choice. I really didn't feel like I had a choice. It was do this or this will happen. And I'm young, I'm early 20s, and I'm like, they're like, sing this song. You don't have it, you're here for a couple hours, I go to town. It's that, it's the whole, if you don't, then blank. So you learn though, you learn.
You have to think about it. How far does the if you don't, then blank, how far does that really go? All right, if you don't sing this song, then we'll end your career. If you don't dance like this, then, we'll end your career. If you don't drop them pants, then we gonna end your career. That's how it goes. You know what I'm saying? That's how their mind is gonna go. They're gonna take it all the way to the next level. That's just what happens. So when she says something like that, we understand the position and the things that she was doing as a young 20-year-old woman, you know, to have her spot within the industry.
Fight harder. I didn't have enough fight in me I was maybe 20, 21. I didn't have enough fight in me.
But the whole thing gets even crazier because unfortunately, just months after unveiling his TikToks about Jay and Beyonce, Uncle Ron's family would take to his TikTok to announce that he had passed away. Let's make this clear.
Bro, no way, bruh. Ain't no way, bro. Cause I was reacting to his videos back in 2023 when he was exposing Beyonce. And how Jay-Z, you know, would drug her in and all these other different allegations as the bodyguard. They got people dropping like flies at this point. This is why we need to pray for the people that come out against the elites, bruh. You have to. You have to. Because one thing they're going to do is they're going to do everything to possibly save their name. And when I mean save their name, they're saving their ego. When I mean save their ego, they're saving their flesh. They're saving their image. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to their spirit, when it comes to their soul, they already sold it. All they have is their flesh at this point. That's all they have. They're going to do everything in their power to possibly keep it. And they done. Bro, not
no one
Uncle
is saying
Ron.
that Hov and Beyonce did anything. After all, he could have died of natural causes. But when you consider everything that's emerged as of late, you can bet that this sure isn't going to stop the conspiracy theories from coming. And who knows? If any of this is true, they might end up in a cell right alongside Diddy. If you didn't know by now, hip-hop is full of wild conspiracy theories. And if you want to get more acquainted with more of them, just check out some of the videos on the screen. As always, I want to thank y'all for watching today's video. Don't forget to drop a like and subscribe for your boy, and I'll catch you.
Yo, first off, shout out to this man right here, Luista. Oh man, bro, I don't want to butcher your name, but look, this is his page right here. Shout out to him. This was a great video, phenomenal video. He included a lot of different video clips and evidence, you know, just to have the viewers, have us put our thinking caps on. Obviously, we can just say everything is alleged at this point, you know, just keep it at that for legal reasons. But at the end of the day, we can all put our thinking caps on and we can all come to our own conclusion as a free thinking human being. But I'm not gonna lie, hearing Uncle Ron pass away, bro, that really just like, bro, that's just annoying to hear. Because we done heard about 3 deaths in this situation. We done heard about Aaliyah. We done heard about Uncle Ron. There was someone else. We know what happened to Kim Porter. There's someone else that I'm forgetting. But it's just unfortunate how far. Oh, and then Kathy Coriana White, the one that, you know, allegedly had an affair with Jay-Z, which I'm pretty sure she admitted to. I'm pretty sure she admitted to having the affair. But all of this just goes to show that they're wicked, bro. If these allegations are true, they're wicked, bro. Jay-Z over here still doing business with R. Kelly, wicked, bro. Just absolutely wicked. Comment down below your thoughts about this entire video, this entire situation. I really do enjoy reading your comments because I do read them. Smash the like button, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you can catch when I drop another video for you. I'm going to catch you in the next one. Peace.